Hey guys, so I wanted to make a video to explain the S&M comments I've been getting. You guys are kind of curious on how was Robbie exposed to S&M and how did he get those types of ideations. And so I decided to make a video to kind of address those questions that I've been receiving. Also, if you have more questions or want to follow our family story, you can subscribe to our channel. It's easier for me to make videos to answer these questions than it is for me to answer the same question 100 times a day. Also, for those of you who need support or have similar stories, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. There's been at least 10 families who I've been able to help get some resources in their area. No question is a dumb question, and if I don't know the answer, I will get you the answer, or I will at least guide you in the right direction to be able to get the answer. Okay, so the S&M situation. So Robbie was not exposed to S&M. When he went into treatment, he was there for 15 months. And during that time, he was given an assessment online that he took on a computer. And on that assessment, it listed hundreds of different violent scenarios that he found arousing and attractive. So when he took the assessment, he was under the impression that it would just go into the computer and it would give him results, but it wouldn't necessarily be translated and looked at. However, we got a full evaluation report back from that test, and it showed that he was attracted to over 27 violent scenarios. Many of them were S&M. There was other categories that he was attracted to as well outside of S&M. But that was just one of the ones that they talked about on the Dr. Phil show. So he hadn't actually been exposed to these things. It was more so based off of reading or pictures what he was sexually attracted to or aroused by, so that they could kind of gauge where he was at and what kind of a danger he was. As for the things that he was exposed to, I can only speak for the things that I know. In our home, we are very, very protective of information on the internet. So our children do not have internet access. They only get internet access when I grant it to them. So I have to put in a password for them to be able to get on the internet on a computer, and they are supervised always in our home. Our children also don't really have electronic devices. They do have tablets, but those tablets, again, are given and granted access for a set period of time, and we keep passwords on everything. So anything that's to be downloaded, I get an alert on my phone and it tells me right away and I have to approve it. Also, we take off the internet browsers so they can't browse on the internet, and they can't even add that back because the parental controls protect the web browser from being added back to the actual device. Our kids also do not have cell phones. It's not necessary. When I was a kid, I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't have one till I was 18 and went off to college, and I bought it myself. We survived without cell phones, so quite frankly, I'm pretty sure they're gonna be okay if they don't have a cell phone. Maybe that makes me the mean mom, but I'm okay with that. It's important to me to protect my kids from these types of situations because, again, I was a victim whenever I was younger, and so I spent a lot of my years trying to make sense of this and understand predators and different types of scenarios that teach people how to become predators. And I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of research when it comes to this topic because I needed to be able to heal from that situation, and knowledge for me is healing. And so it's just been something that I've just been very protective of, not wanting my kids to be exposed to the wrong information. And when it comes to sex talks and stuff, some of the older ones have gone through puberty, obviously. I feel like that information should come from me and my husband, and we've had those hard conversations, and we've gone through those things with our kids, but that information should not be found on the internet, and it should be discussed with us, and our kids know that. They know that if they have questions, they can come to us, and we talk about these things very openly. And again, like, no question is a dumb question in our house, and I would rather they ask me than go try to figure it out on their own. I've also tried to cover a lot of topics with my kids to make sure that if they had questions, that what questions that I have at their age, I try to make sure that I give them the information that I kind of wondered at their age. That way they're not really super curious and trying to go hunt for information. Now, when it comes to Robbie's biological mom, before we were able to get full custody, my husband always had full custody, but we had visitation in place with her every other weekend. Now, she took them like once a month, but she was not a good mother. And when they were there, a lot of bad things happened. She was very neglectful. It was a bad situation. So we worked with CIS to get them away from her, and unfortunately it took a lot longer than we had planned for it to take, and it was very difficult to get them to see what we were seeing and to kind of put an end to that relationship. Eventually we did get complete custody, and she has no rights whatsoever, and we also had a PFA in place. So eventually that did happen. But before that happened, I know Robbie, his stepdad, provided him with pornographic materials, and it came out later while he was in treatment that Robbie had 2 victims, and his 2 victims were a result of using those materials to violate his victims. And he showed the articles to his victims and said that this is what I'm gonna do to you, and basically that's what happened. And then he didn't actually rape them. I think they were young kids and just kind of didn't know what was happening. It is not an excuse. It is absolutely disgusting, and it literally tore my heart out when I heard that information, that he had already violated 2 people. Luckily, he was already in treatment at the time, because if he had not been in treatment, I'm not really sure how I would have processed that information and still had him in my home. So I'm grateful for that, but my heart goes out so deeply to the victims, and I just pray that they were young enough that they truly are healing and have bounced back, like their therapists say. Abuse is inexcusable, and I will never enable Robbie or make excuses for his behavior. I will always own what happened and be transparent, because if our story can help one family, then that was worth it. So, and after that, I know when he was at his biological mom's house, she would let him play on her cell phone, and I do know he did look up the search topic hardcore gay porn, so that's a bit concerning. And I know that when he went to school, he had looked up something on the computer, so we immediately banned all computer usage at school, and we made him use like encyclopedias and library books, which we did it as kids, so I didn't think it was really a big deal. So we took away all internet access from him at home and also at school. We just didn't want to take that risk, and we didn't want to enable him with like free range and free roam to those types of topics. When he did go into treatment, however, they did give him computer privileges because he was 14, and in our state, he gets to determine his care when it comes to psychiatric treatment. And so when he went to this treatment facility, he ended up looking up stuff again on the computer at school. And so then they ended up re-banning the internet. We had asked from the beginning that that be banned from him, and unfortunately we lost that battle because, again, he was 14 and him and the program were able to make that decision without our consent. So they did give him the internet, but they did take it away the first time they found out he had been searching stuff at the program. As for everything else, I really don't know Robbie's childhood. I know what I've been told. I know what I've seen on paper. I kind of addressed that in an earlier video about the trauma that his mother imposed on him before I came into his life. And again, I just don't think I'll ever know his full story or the full extent of what happened to him. And every week, more information comes out from Robbie himself, and this has just been extremely challenging to navigate because the more that gets exposed, the more it just tears at my heart, and it's just really difficult because there's so much that's come out and that he's hid, that it's just been extremely difficult to not be frustrated and still be that loving, supportive mom that I know that I am. I'm trying, and I definitely feel like I express my concerns to him, and that we still have those hard conversations. But I feel like the more I know, the more I find out, the harder those conversations are. He at this point is trying, and I pray to God that he takes this serious and that he continues to get help. And I would love to see him be able to live somewhat of a normal life outside of these desires. So I definitely think he needs to stay in treatment. We don't have any plans on removing him, but at this point, the juvenile system has taken over and they get the final say so. So we'll definitely keep you guys updated. But that is how he learned about S&M. It wasn't actually him learning about it. It was more of a questionnaire, and he was attracted to those types of scenarios. Okay guys, I'm gonna jump off here, but I wanted to answer that question because I get it a lot and it's just too much to type out 100 times a day. So I thought making a video would just be easier. Thank you again for everybody for the love and support. We are so appreciative. Thank you, seriously, from the bottom of our hearts. Like, this has actually been very healing and very therapeutic for me personally, seeing all the love and support, because when you've hidden something for 2.5 years and you grieve it alone, it's a lot to carry, and seeing all the love and support has been so helpful. And so our story is already out there, so I might as well be transparent with you guys, because the love and support has been amazing, and we truly appreciate it. So thank you for tuning in. We love you all so much, and we'll see you soon. Bye.